Thanks for watching Esports Monies. Subscribe and enable notifications with the bell icon so you don't miss any of this questionable content.
And if you hit the like button, I'll probably get more views or something, so go on and do that too, I guess. Thanks. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Esports Monies, ESM Mac 10, and welcome to my guide to...
That's a lot of damage.
Heaven on High. So the first thing I want to state is that this video is not a be-all, end-all guide. It's the first in a series of videos related to Heaven on High. I'm also going to assume that you at least know the basics of the dungeon, and therefore if you need to know how the basic mechanics of it work, go watch Mr. Happy's video or anyone else's, because this is for someone that knows the basics of it but wants to really push the envelope in Heaven on High. So the first thing that I want to go over is food. So food is generally thought to not work in Heaven on High, aside from Vitality. Some people believe that skill speed or spell speed works. Some people believe that crit works or doesn't work. However, I would argue that pretty much everything is working, it just works at different levels. So as you can see, Storm's Eye 2.4, Storm's Path 2.4, all of these cooldowns are at a 2.4 GCD. I'm on floor 1, I am a warrior, and I am capped at 99.99. So I'm going to consume some sauteed green leeks. And holy shit, it's 2.39 seconds. So skill speed does work, which means that spell speed almost certainly works. However, I do want to emphasize that this is something that has diminishing returns as you level up. It will say 2.4 seconds, both with and without skill speed food from floor 21 up. I have not tested between floor 1 and floor 21, but just to get this out of the way, that's how it works from the get-go. Next on our list, we have Mimics. So Mimics are one of the most misunderstood components of Heaven on High. So you can actually only get Mimics from brown chests until floor 31. Starting at floor 31, you can no longer get Mimics from brown chests, but you can get Mimics from silver chests. From floor 61 on, you will only get Mimics from gold chests. So to repeat that, floors 1 to 30 are only brown Mimics. Floors 30 to 60 are only silver chests or blue chests into Mimics. And starting on floor 61, you will only get Mimics from gold chests. Now, it's important to note that gold chest Mimics are not stunnable. It's also important to note that if you're doing the floor 21 through 30 grind over and over and over again, please stop opening brown chests, because it's the only way that you can get Mimics, and the potsherd drop rate, if you're grinding for that reason, the potsherd drop rate actually changes drastically over the course of the floor set, to where you get a exponentially larger amount of potsherds, or an exponentially larger chance of getting a potsherd, starting with floor 61, and really in the 70s, you're going to get potsherds more often than you will not. Now we're going to talk a little bit about detection types. So notice that that monster is not going to attack me, because I am using Hide. So there are 3 types of detection in Heaven on High. The first is sight, the second is sound, and the third is proximity. If you are walking, or you use the run/walk toggle, like you'll see people sometimes in the cities walking instead of running, if you do that, you will not aggro monsters that detect by sound. If you want to avoid sight detection, then you can simply walk behind monsters, or if you're a ninja, you can use Hide. Note that even though you're walking slowly, when you're in Hide, you will still aggro monsters that detect by sound unless you toggle run/walk. So if you're walking and you're in Hide, you will not aggro monsters that detect by sound or detect by sight. However, proximity monsters will always aggro you unless you are in a Pomander of Concealment. Now, speaking of aggroing monsters, you really want to be wall walking as much as possible. It takes additional time, which is one of your 2 resources. When you're in a deep dungeon solo, you have 2 resources at your disposal: time and items, and you trade one back and forth for the other. So when you walk against a wall, you are greatly reducing the odds that you will hit a trap, and you are also creating a path that you know you've been down. So let's say I hug the right side of a room and wall walk the whole way through it, and then when I get back, I remember I wall walked that right side, now the left side because I'm coming from the other direction. I know not only that I didn't hit traps there before, but I know that I have a safe route to go through without hitting a trap. Just remember, if you use a Pomander of Safety or a Pomander of Sight, then you actually don't need to wall walk anymore. You just need to avoid aggro if you're trying to avoid aggro. Also note that if you hit a landmine and you are in hide, you will no longer be in hide. But if you hit an otter trap while you're in hide, then you will just be an invisible otter, which is actually fine because the otter trap is technically the most dangerous for most classes if you're solo. So thank you guys so much for watching. This, again, is the first video in a series of several. I mostly just wanted to get some piece of content out there, and I felt that a lot of the tips in this specific video would feel out of place in my guide for floors 1 through 10. So the next video will be a guide specifically detailing floors 1 through 10, and then 11 through 20, and then 21 through 30, and moving forward bit by bit. If you want to see questionable play at the highest floors of Heaven on High solo, then check out my Twitch stream, twitch.tv/MACKXTEN. And if you're a Dota person wondering what the hell just popped up on your feed and you somehow made it this far into the video, have no fear, I will be making some Dota-related content as we get closer to TI, which is super, super late this year, by the way. August 25th? I mean, that's nuts. That's like the latest TI we've ever had. It's just really wild considering 2 years ago we had one in, like, the middle of July. Anyway, see you later, guys. Just kidding, one more thing. I want to take a moment to give a special shout out to Maygii, to Angelus Demoness, and Silent Co, who plays under the handle Taylor Swift. Maygii being the person that wrote the insanely massive Palace of the Dead guide and has a sequel guide to Heaven on High, which you will find in the link to this video. This video and all of the progress I've made in Heaven on High and Palace of the Dead would not have been possible if not for all of these people, especially Maygii. So thank you guys very, very much. Currently sitting at number 1 on Ninja and number 2 on Warrior, but hopefully I get an actual solo clear because I don't think the leaderboards matter all that much as actually beating floor 100 solo.